And good night to everyone joining the live broadcast across there on YouTube. I hope that you are having a very wonderful night, a day so far, a week. I mean, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar was in Tobago. First time in like 10 years, about so. Right? You have some visuals here. Go ahead, run it. Prime Minister arriving there in Tobago yesterday, Trinidad and Tobago, to meet with the Chief Secretary Farley Augustine, and she delivered a speech, ironically, as well, to the people of Tobago. The Prime Minister doing the thing, man. She doing the thing, Trinidad and Tobago. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar is everywhere. And while Kamala is everywhere, the People's National Movement, the PNM, the opposition, they took the opportunity to hold a press conference to bring up old news because they had nothing to talk about, nothing to condemn Kamala Persad-Bissessar about. Ironically, as well, former Prime Minister, or the former Prime Minister, Keith Christopher Rowley, is attacking the THA today because, as you know, Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have given THA the ability to go and get foreign currency into Tobago. Make your own money. I saw the talk of autonomy come up. Look at that. License to earn Forex for the people of Tobago. Kamala Persad-Bissessar signed off and give them the license to earn Forex. And this is apparently something that was going on for quite some time, but the People's National Movement was unable to get it completed. And just as, again, OFAC, just as with the OFAC license, Keith Rowley, the PNM, they want to take credit, but it is Kamala Persad-Bissessar that actually give them license. Kamala, the leader of the government today, not Keith Christopher Rowley. Rowley talking about it was, what it was like a shortage, a supply issue, and not a political issue. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar said that she's playing no politics with the people of Tobago and giving them basically autonomy. That's what's happening. But as the news tonight, Trinidad and Tobago, basically what Kamala Persad-Bissessar went across to Tobago for. More conversations or more news I'm thinking will come out of that Tobago trip. I did see, again, autonomy for Tobago. The people of Tobago have been calling for autonomy for quite some while, you know. I like to say secession. You go ahead and run that. Yeah, look how nice Kamala look here. Oh, God. Oh, God. What's that? Director. I will not say that. look at the Prime Minister, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, with the Chief Secretary Farley Chavez Augustine. And again, the news is the license to earn Forex was granted. PM grants Farley permission to export. All right? Look at that. Quarry minerals. And Rowley saying is a supply issue. It was a supply issue, so you couldn't grant them the license. There's always a way for them to again, play politics and say that they were doing it, but it didn't get done. And that's the thing, yeah? The PNM want to take credit for things that are happening today regards to the OFAC license, the license granted to the THA. They want to they want to take credit for these things. And they always want to come and say, it is the PNM that was doing it, it's the PNM that did it, it's the PNM, it's the PNM, it's the PNM. But when you look on the flip end, Trinidad and Tobago, it is Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress that is receiving the credit for it because they are the ones that actually put it in motion and put several things in motion for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. When OFAC was granted and then it was not granted anymore, it was rescinded by the US administration, Kamala Persad-Bissessar goes to the United States and gets OFAC back. In the same regards for Tobago, and basically giving them autonomy and giving them the license to earn Forex. All right, right here, look at right there, license to earn Forex. If it is that the PNM is wanting to take credit for it, fine, take all the credit. But it is Kamala Persad-Bissessar that signed off. So the history will show it's Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress that signed off. And I saw a lot of persons talking about Tobago and Farley and Farley playing politics with the THA, and Farley is the worst for Tobago. And ironically, it's only now that persons will come out to say that simply because Kamala Persad-Bissessar in charge, and then the narrative by the People's National Movement is that Farley Chavez Agustin and the entirety of the THA that is not PNM is somehow UNC operatives. You'll hear it all across social media. I tell you that today. I tell you today that all they would say about Farley Chavez Agustin and anybody in Tobago that disagree with the PNM is that they are UNC operatives. But the thing is, the people of Tobago know better. And that's why I like them for. That's why I admire you and I respect you across there in Tobago for. You know better. And you do different to Trinidad and Tobago, well, to Trinidad in itself. Because the people of Tobago voted out the PNM for the THA elections, and then they didn't even vote back the PNM for the 2025 general elections. That is to tell you, PNM really think that they alive and well in Tobago, and Tobago will vote like Beatum, Sealots, Lavantil. But that's not true. That's not so anymore. The people of Tobago know better, see better, and will do better, and will vote out the PNM and vote differently whenever they feel like it. And I admire that. And that's the difference between Trinidad. Trinidad, on the other hand, we continue the two-party system. Tobago, Tobago say we want different and we're going to vote differently. And that's what I respect them for. Honestly, that's what I respect them for. So again, congratulations to the THA. Congratulations to the entirety of the UNC actually for giving the people of Tobago the autonomy or the license to earn Forex for Tobago. Outside of that, Trinidad, some of the issues this week, I feel like every show we just come and talk about Venezuela, you know. Correct, right? So far, every show we spoke about Venezuela, yeah? Almost every show. While Kamala Persad-Bissessar is across there in Tobago, greeting the people of Tobago, giving the people of Tobago more autonomy over their money, over their finances, you know, the ability to earn Forex, is the media in Trinidad, the Venezuelan media in Trinidad, that is Guardian newspaper, that is, or Express, whichever one, because Express is posted as well. But the Venezuelan news that call themselves national news for Trinidad and Tobago could only be reporting and only seems to be reporting on issues of Venezuela. Nicolas Maduro say this, Nicolas Maduro say that, Nicolas Maduro say the other, Nicolas threaten Trinidad, Nicolas do this, Nicolas do that, Nicolas do, and it goes on and on and on and on and on and on non-stop. I think if you were to look at the national media posting each and every single day, half of the day will be just Venezuelan news. That's all. Anything to condemn Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Anything to condemn Kamala Persad-Bissessar. And then I tell you, the Caribbean, in this regard, they too will do anything to condemn Kamala Persad-Bissessar. The amount of persons that are saying that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is on the wrong side of history and we will come out on the wrong side of this impending war between Venezuela is crazy, tantamount crazy. That's what it is. As though we on this side, us here, and that's what I said in the first time I started speaking about this. Who feels it, knows it. Trinidad and Tobago, again, have been at the behest of crime and criminality, drugs, human trafficking, all coming from Venezuela. Kamala Persad-Bissessar specifically pointed that out. We and Kamala Persad-Bissessar is not saying that I want Donald Trump to run into Venezuela for the gas. If that is Donald Trump motive, then that's Donald Trump motive. But Kamala Persad-Bissessar is saying, I support and we support the warships or the U.S. actions in the Caribbean based off the illicit drug trade that is happening. Everybody, again, yeah, he might be wanting gas and oil and whatever from Venezuela, but not to forget that part of the problem as well, and the majority of the problem for us here in Trinidad and Tobago, is that issue of crime and criminality and trafficking. Yesenia Gonzalez, who was on the program just on Monday, said it, that Trinidad and Tobago needs to pay attention to the reports coming from CARICOM, the 2019 CARICOM report, which was updated again, I think just, she said 2025, but I think it was just about 2023. The U.S. in-person report that spoke specifically to human trafficking taking place between Trinidad and Venezuela. These are reports that I urge you to go and read for yourself. If at all Trinidad and Tobago, a government is to deal with the issues and that very issue of human trafficking between Trinidad and Venezuela, let me ask you, how would you want to deal with it as a small nation like Trinidad and Tobago, Twin Island state? If you want to tell me about OPVs, dismantled, gone, our sea, our coastline, our protection, our border patrol in a mess. Makila Pandey went down to Cedros and she showed you that, hey, it's only one vessel here, one boat, no fuel, nothing. Fishermen could speak about it. Consistently, they have said it, the Coast Guard don't have fuel. We need to be able to deal with those issues. And frankly, some of the issues, most of the time, is a monetary issue. But now, when you take a look at anything out at sea, you would see where fishermen right here in Trinidad are being warned about going into Venezuelan waters. That wasn't happening before. Before, when they go out at sea, and if they get captured by pirates, ransom is the order of the day. They're calling for ransom. They're on Ian Allen program crying. Now Trinidad and Tobago, you actually have Coast Guards out there that patrolling our maritime waters. Is it what we need it to be? No. Is the government claiming that, yeah, the sea bridge fix or the issue with border protection fix? No. But Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is saying that, A, we are trying and we are going to get it done and we will get it done. And if you take a look at the murder toll right now, Trinidad and Tobago, the murder toll has decreased by 47.3%. And this is according to the Guardian, by the way, the PNM Guardian. But murders have decreased from the 29th of April 2025 to October 30th, 2025. During the same period, 2024 to 2025, we have seen a significant decrease in murders. Now, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the United National Congress and everyone now could say that this is because of A, the state of emergency, and also because of what is taking place out at sea with the United States. No doubting that at all. Right? No doubting that at all. But when persons that are not even in Trinidad and Tobago want to condemn our Prime Minister and say that Kamala don't know what she's saying and don't know what she's doing and she's so senile and she's a secunia and all kind of things people saying in the Caribbean, you're misguided. That's the best way I could put it. You're misguided. Very, very much misguided. And I want to get to some of that for you, Trinidad and Tobago, so you know what I'm speaking about, all right? I want you to stay put. Don't move from here. Don't move, all right? Or you could take 3 minutes and come back. Take 3 minutes, Trinidad and Tobago, because when we come back, I'm going to show you what exactly I am speaking about. There's a guy that put out a 6-minute long video on social media condemning our Prime Minister, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar. Now, hearing from his accent, he's not from Trinidad, but he lives in the Caribbean. All right? He lives in the Caribbean. But apparently, he living in the Caribbean, he go to pictures and pull up the murder, the homicide. Apparently, he not living in one of these islands here. He not living in Jamaica. He not living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He clearly not living in Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently, he not living in St. Lucia. He not living in any of the Caribbean islands here that sees some of the world's highest homicide rates. Highest homicide rates. When you ask yourself again, why are so many people dying in Trinidad? part of the problem is definitely the Venezuelan. Is it 100% the problem? No, it is not 100% of the problem. Some of the problems are definitely people in Trinidad just wicked. But another part of the problem is that gangs have infiltrated Trinidad and Tobago, mainly Trinidad, from Venezuela. CNC3 spoke about it during COVID again when a former prime minister or a former prime minister allowed for all Venezuelans to come into Trinidad, whether you're illegal or you're not illegal, to come into Trinidad to get work. Kamala Persad-Bissessar today rescinded work permits. All right, look here. Yeah, government cuts work permits. Kamala Persad-Bissessar rescinded over 3,518 Venezuelan work permits here in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, but this program going to be an interesting one. Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. When we come back, we'll take a look at our Caribbean brother condemning Kamala Persad-Bissessar.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at SNS. Quality you trust, prices you love. At SNS Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotions to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds. We have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Fuco.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage of poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
I really don't get why the Caribbean hates Kamala Persad-Bissessar. I'm trying to understand that, and I'm even trying to understand why Trinidadians in itself hate Kamala Persad-Bissessar or dislike Kamala for some reason. I've heard the most vile things about Kamala Persad-Bissessar because I support Kamala Persad-Bissessar as well, right? I've heard the worst. I've heard the lick bottom, the against the race, trust me, all kind of thing. The race comments that comes up in Trinidad and Tobago alone about Kamala Persad-Bissessar at this point in time is crazy. They say that she firing people to get she own work. she doing this, she doing that, she doing the other, Indians benefiting, this, that, the whole kind of thing. As far as I know, how Kamala cabinet does look. The whole cabinet mixed up is one of the largest cabinets in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a history, and it's a mixed cabinet. I think I see more black people. Alexander Sobers, Welch boy. But there's a lot. There's a lot of black. Even the Attorney General black. Right? John Jeremy is a black man, right? Yeah, John Jeremy is a black man. I think so. I think John Jeremy is a black man. But regardless of, I don't think that Kamala Persad-Bissessar is a racist. I don't think that Kamala Persad-Bissessar against black people. I think black people against black people in Trinidad and Tobago. You want to vote for a black man like Keith Christopher Rowley to suffer while what Massey, Price Smart and other conglomerates across Trinidad and Tobago benefit alone and you suffer? Really? They raise gas like so many times and they say, they always coming out to say, that's always all their argument. They raise gas. How will they want them to run the country? Well, how Kamala running the country right now with gas prices slashed, at least on the super side, right? Super gasoline slashed by $1. Yes, other things definitely went up in Trinidad. We are seeing food prices going up across Trinidad, definitely. But you cannot tell me that within 6 months, Kamala Persad-Bissessar was supposed to solve the issues that PNM neglected for over 10 years. I see a leverage, almost a leverage playing field between the rich and the poor in Trinidad and Tobago. No more is Kamala saying the rich need to get richer so the poor can take themselves out of poverty, but Kamala Persad-Bissessar is actually extending an olive branch and a helping hand to the poor in Trinidad and Tobago. But, and somebody now say I'm still so misinformed. Am I wrong right now, Director? Like you're how old again? 22, right? And you see differently with Kamala Persad-Bissessar's administration, right? Because I really not understanding some people in Trinidad. You know, the previous administration was telling you the world of things, buffing up the media, raising gas prices, not fixing roads, doing the most. Keith Rowley was on TV saying the rich had to get richer while the poor take themselves out of poverty. Well, anyway, and ironically, it is Keith Christopher Rowley that started the notion of dancing with Nicolas Maduro. And I don't think I want to go into the whole issue as to why and what and draw it down, but it is Keith Christopher Rowley that would have done anything for Nicolas Maduro. Anything. Kamala Persad-Bissessar messaging change, you know. And let me start there. Kamala Persad-Bissessar's message has not changed. She has always been telling Nicolas Maduro to, hey, you hold your corner and we'll hold our corner. All right? With the whole issue of Guyana, Kamala was the one that defended Guyana and said, touch one, touch all. This happened in 2023. Touch one, touch all. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. A lot of persons said, oh God, Kamala, you're mad. You're mad. Them bigger than we smaller than them. What you feel you're doing, you're putting my life at risk, blah, blah, blah. You ever hear, you take me back to the ad. Mommy, why you risking my life? That ad, Rails, no. But that ad, right? That is Trinidadians today. Kamala Persad-Bissessar's message have not changed. It is the same. Kamala's stance on Venezuela ain't changed. Kamala is not against Venezuelans coming to Trinidad and Tobago. She's against drug trafficking. She's against drug pushers. That is what she's against. So when the Caribbean is upset with Kamala Persad-Bissessar because she chooses to align with the United States, I ask, okay, who we supposed to align with? We supposed to remain a zone of peace? Pull up the picture again. Is this a zone of peace, Trinidad and Tobago? Look at the rates. Is this a zone of peace? Jamaica murder toll or homicide rate, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad, St. Lucia. Is this a zone of peace? Is this what we mean by peace? How can you tell me you are comfortable in the Caribbean living like this, living in fear? Crime is escalating in the Caribbean. And why is crime escalating in the Caribbean? Simply because the leaders that we have in the Caribbean refuse to stand for something. And I like the saying, stand for something or fall for anything. And Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is standing for something and is falling for nothing. This Kamala 2.0 is doing exactly what is needed to be done to set Trinidad and Tobago up for progress and set Trinidad for progression and for us to become a prospering nation. In order for us to become a prospering nation, we need to be able to deal with the issues of the day. And Venezuela is an issue. It's an issue because of the drugs and their close proximity to Trinidad and Tobago, or specifically to Trinidad. It has been a drug-pushing nation for Trinidad, a guns-pushing nation for Trinidad, a human trafficking-pushing nation for Trinidad. How do we deal with it, Trinidad and Tobago? Tell me. Well, one thing that you would never hear from those that bad talk Trinidad and Tobago or bad talk Kamala Prasad-Bissessar is how we deal with it. That's what you'd never hear. So, there's a blogger that disrespected Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, said that she don't know what she's doing. She technically senile. He said the worst about Kamala. And then if you scroll in the comments, it's Trini saying, I agree. Take a listen.
You know, this is what you end up with when you have people who make decisions or go along with somebody else's plans without even thinking ahead of.
Come back. All right, so I'm having some issues with the visuals there, all right? So I'll get back to that clip just now, right? So let's go actually to there's an international news outlet that said Trinidad and Tobago will be the biggest loser in this whole issue with Venezuela. Take a listen to this, and then when we come back, I'll get you the clip with the guy who condemned Kamala.
Tonight, I want to explain a small country. Hello and welcome to Times XP. I am Dhritiyatri, and we are going to talk about a small country that could become the biggest loser in the US-Venezuela conflict. Trinidad and Tobago, just 1.4 million people. Two small islands, tiny in size, but one of the most important energy hubs in the Caribbean. And here's the problem. If America and Venezuela go into a direct war, Trinidad and Tobago is stuck in the middle of the power struggle that it cannot survive. Let me break this down for you. Two islands, a population of just 1.4 million people, as I just said. Most Indians in India don't even realize this country has one of the biggest Indo-Caribbean population. Almost 40% of the population is of Indian origin. Yes. Trinidad was once a British colony. It gained independence in 1962. Its wealth for decades came from oil and natural gas, and today almost 40% of their entire government income is from energy. This is not a tourist island, by the way. It's an energy island. Trinidad and Tobago's economy lives on gas. Not tourism, not tech, gas. The country's LNG sector is one of the largest suppliers in the entire Western Hemisphere. 40% of all government revenue comes from energy. Now, if that steam gets disrupted, the country collapses financially. And where is some of the gas coming from? The Dragon gas field inside Venezuela's maritime zone. Trinidad needs access to that gas for future production in 2024. The energy giant Shell and Trinidad's LGC were negotiating with Venezuela to unlock that particular field after the US eased the sanction. But now, war clouds. Trump has deployed 10,000 troops, warships, special forces to the Caribbean. Russia has now inserted military aircraft into Venezuela. The Caribbean all of a sudden looks like a Middle East. Yes, small islands surrounded by superpower weapon. And Trinidad is right there, trapped between Venezuelan territorial water and American military assets. You know, if conflict explodes here, gas deal freezed. Investment stops, companies panic, LNG terminals slow down. This means that Trinidad will lose billions of dollars in the next 5 years. Not millions, billions, because energy investors hate war zones. This also hits their own people. Trinidad already has young unemployment rate that is nearly 9%. It has inflation above 4.7%. If the gas sector gets hit, that number jumps into double digits immediately. And once the jobs are gone, crime rises, immigration rises, social tensions explodes. Also, there is a second danger here. Venezuela already hosts one of the world's deepest pro-Russian network. If war erupts, Russian and maybe, just maybe, Iranian assets also, they can use Venezuelan ports and airstrikes. United States military assets will respond from nearby Caribbean water. And guess who is sitting right in the middle of this two-sided geographical war? Trinidad and Tobago. This island could become the parking lot between the two militaries. Scared investors leave, tourists die, ports get militarized, sea routes get blocked. This is not fantasy. This is exactly what happened to Lebanon in 1980s. It got crushed between Syria, Israel and the US's interest. A small nation becomes the battlefield of giants. So yes, the headline says US-Venezuela tension, but the real economic body bag could be carried out by Trinidad and Tobago. A country that did nothing wrong, a country that simply wanted to sell gas, and now the gas is surrounded by warships. The question nobody in the mainstream media is asking is very, very simple. When superpowers fight for oil and gas, what happens to the little countries who are sitting on the top of that energy? Tonight, Trinidad and Tobago is learning the answer the hard way.
We learning any lesson the hard way? Food prices rise yet in Trinidad and Tobago, like astronomically or something that I'm unaware of. Like, you know, things drastic in Trinidad when KFC raised the price. KFC chicken raised just yet, people. KFC all raise all their prices. I think a super deal is still, how much for a super deal? Roughly $20-something. A 2 pieces about $40 roughly, right? I don't think it raised just yet, so we good, Trinidad and Tobago. We good. No need to rush. When KFC raise the price, then we go start to panic, right? I think that's fair. That's really fair for the people. Because they're panicking now, and people watching like, I started to say, what's going on? What going on? What going on? Right? People call on my phone, like, war start by, like, what going on? Which part? First thing people decided to do was go to the gas station. Right? Like, let me ask you something. Talk louder. When war start, if war start, you think the smart place to go to the gas station? Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go? It have a bridge between Trinidad and Tobago I don't know about. Like, where we gonna go? You run and you pump gas. Yeah, let me go and get some gas. Oh God, war start. Like, if you get a missile here in Trinidad and they take out a roadway, like, where you expect to go Trinidad and Tobago? Tell me. But then people went to the grocery and they start buying toilet paper. Not food, you know. Not food. Toilet paper. Because you need to wipe your behind. But anyway, our Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar said that there is no war and you do not need to panic. This is Kamala Persad-Bissessar in Tobago, telling you again from Tobago not to listen to the international news that you're getting, not to panic. And all the media, again, CNC3, the PNM media could do is push the narrative of war. Kamala said, there's no war. I'm unaware of that. What war are you talking about?
Some international media said that Trinidad and Tobago is a nation of fishermen. Nothing is further from the truth. We have fishermen, but we have other industries, we have other forms of income, and the pressure is being given that it's fishermen of Trinidad and Tobago being bummed out of the sea. What are you doing out there? Why are you so far out? Why don't you stay in your zone? Why don't you stay in TMD waters? And you'll be safe. Trinidad is not a target. Tobago is not a target. So I totally disagree with the narrative out there by some, that we're exposing our nationals to danger. As Farley said it earlier, there's war and there are rumors and rumors of war. There is no war. TNT is not a target. The targets are narco traffickers, gun runners, human traffickers. Those are our targets. And you have seen some interviews I gave, some responses I gave to the media, carrying some of it, showing that there has been the drugs decrease in Trinidad, the prices for the narcos, prices increasing because why? Because we're picking them out of this most in the pocket.
Anywho, so the narrative of some war is not happening in Trinidad and Tobago. It's not happening. We are at no war. The only thing happening is that we're against drug pushers. If you disagree with us being against drug pushers, then you can go to the drug pushing island. But again, when we come back, we're gonna take a listen to a Caribbean guy again condemn Kamala Prasad Bissessar. All right, stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be back right after this.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at SNS. Quality you trust, prices you love. At SNS Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotions to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds. We have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Pico.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
All right, so welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. You see, this issue with people bad talking Kamala, boy. Oh God, boy. I say it again. I don't see the reason for it. So there was this guy, and we now have the video of the guy from the Caribbean island that really trashed Kamala Prasad Bissessar for her foreign policies on Venezuela and her stance with Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Take a listen.
You know, this is what you end up with when you have people who make decisions or go along with somebody else's plans without even thinking ahead of the repercussions it would have. Because make no mistake, everything you do have consequences. And clearly, the Trinidad and Tobago government did not think about the consequences of the fishermen who use this method to make a daily living. Many of them are now stuck ashore. Of course, the Coast Guard would have told them don't go anything 2 miles off. I know fishermen right here in St. Vincent, a lot of them, at least over 30 of them, who stopped gone in the southwest part of the Caribbean because that's where they used to get their tuna and stuff. They have just stopped because they say they don't know what to do if they go out there and something just go astray. I mean, they can't be walking with a white flag every day saying we are fishermen. After all, Trump had laughed to say that not even fishing boats are on the sea anymore. And he was happy to basically say that destroy the livelihoods of Caribbean fishermen. So, but this is what happens when you have that picture you're looking at is what happens when you have leadership that does not think before they're doing stuff. Look, residents of seaside communities along Trinidad's east coast say recent reports of U.S. naval vessels operating nearby have sparked concern, hoping that any military activity remains far from their homes. This is from the Guardian newspaper. On Sunday, of course, you had 4 vessels, the USS Stockdale, the USS Jima, USS Gravely, and the USS Lake Erie were reported in the area, of course, between Trinidad and Barbados. There's at least one appearing off Trinidad's east coast. Remember, I showed you that picture yesterday of how these things are now lined out in the Caribbean. Speaking with Guardian Media, fisher folk from Selbia said they had not seen military vessels firsthand, but are exercising caution regarding how far and how often they venture out to sea. So right away, you see livelihoods being destroyed, people not showing when to go, where to go, how far to go. If, it's just bacchanal, back and forth. And this is people's livelihood. These are fishermen, legitimate fishermen talking about here. I'm talking about people who go on a jog run. One fisherman who requested anonymity said a police patrol warned them yesterday not to venture beyond their usual fishing zone, right? If a policeman can come and tell you something like that, you would try and heed it, he said, adding that he had already been cautious after hearing stories of encounters with military vessels. Well, he actually, to the Guardian media, recounted one unverified incident where I think he said local fishermen were reportedly confronted by U.S. military personnel near an offshore oil rig about 29 miles offshore. And he said, I heard a rumor that a military boat boarded a boat off the rig, ransacked it, and left. They said this was U.S. military, he stated. And so the fisherman said the presence of military vessels basically has led many in the community to avoid venturing far into waters. Like I said, in St. Vincent right here, you have fishermen who would have gone out in the southwest Caribbean Sea. What they do out there is basically they go for tuna. So they go out far for deep sea fishing. They don't do it anymore because it's just difficult with the situation that is around the Caribbean region right now. So livelihoods have been destroyed and war has not even begun. And livelihoods have already been destroyed. So this is a matter of grave concern. I think it should be for all. You go up and down the coast, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of boats on land with little to no activity. Many of them only go out from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and avoid fishing after dark. It's too dangerous when visibility is poor and anyone could mistake you for something you're not. And so they said, despite these concerns, Raja Maraj, a lifelong fisherman off Toko, said he had not seen any U.S. vessel off the East Coast, and suggested reports may have been confused with sighting elsewhere around Trinidad. So some are saying that they have seen, some are saying that they have not seen. It's just a matter of wait and see, really, as to what's going on. Life has continued as normal for seaside communities since the U.S. military began operations in September, he said. So that's what another fisherman saying. Things have continued as normal. Nevertheless, other fishers claim to have observed burnt wreckage and debris in offshore waters. Kerry Arter, who's a local businessman in Toko, noted that while his bar and mini mart have not yet been directly affected, reduced activity among fisher folk could ripple through what he called the local economy. So there is problems. There is going to be problems further down the line. And so it seems like fishermen have been very cautious and they're not going far, and it's hampering their catch really. That affects spending in the community. That is what happens. So we will see how this goes, and we will look at more of these issues in another video.
There's people that not from Trinidad, and I find out you're from St. Vincent, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Click the, let me see the rate again, the homicide rate. I think St. Vincent was which part on the homicide rate? St. Vincent and the Grenadines is second on the homicide rate in the world. All right? maybe come on. Maybe you should stick talking about your affairs before we move on to Trinidad affairs, because boy, it couldn't be further from the truth. Some pointers there, all right? Quote, the leadership that do not think before they speak, is what he said, referring to Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Livelihoods are being destroyed, secondly, all right? And that, I'm guessing, that he's speaking about is the fishermen down at Cedros. And then he spoke about the police officers, the police, so, I mean the Coast Guard, saying do not venture beyond fishing zone. That's fair, right, Director? You think that's fair to tell a fisherman, don't venture beyond his fishing zone, don't go into international waters to fish? Because if you get captured on international waters, who's supposed to help you? And then he said, well, do not go into Venezuelan waters, is what I wrote here, because, I mean, if you're fishing, you need to go and fish in Venezuelan waters. But anyway, while saying all of the negatives, you didn't mention that the Coast Guard of Venezuela gave chase to Trinidadians in our own water before the Trinidadian Coast Guard gave chase or protected our own Trinidadians right here in Trinidad and Tobago. Because the same media that you're quoting is the same media that put out that information. I'm not understanding that Kamla Persad-Bissessar, she's a fool because she not thinking before she speak apparently. I think Kamla Persad-Bissessar gave the most sober releases, press conferences. She gave the most sober releases yet. Telling Trinidadians not to worry. That is thinking before speaking. I don't have information about a war. There's no war. That is thinking before speaking. She's not pushing propaganda. Help me understand some of the propagandas that Kamla pushed so far. What did Kamla Persad-Bissessar say thus far that is leading Trinidad and Tobago into war, or allowing or urging Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to be responding this much? Because he is responding to everything Kamla didn't say. But before I move on, I'm going to make sure and correct your wrongs, because you're a journalist and you have plenty wrongs. Trinidad and Tobago's own fishermen, we on this side, in this Caribbean island, you know, who feels it, knows it, and we feel it here in Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe that's why our economy is a little better than yours, but we feel it here in Trinidad and Tobago. In Trinidad and Tobago, our fishermen were chased by the Venezuelan Coast Guard. Our fishermen have been at the ransom of pirates out at sea. PNM, nothing about it. UNC, something about it. The people that you say don't think before they talk, before they speak, yeah, they are the ones. Kamla Persad-Bissessar doing something about it. And she said to our fishermen, why are you fishing out in Venezuelan waters? If it is you get captured doing illegal stuff out at sea, then you're fending for yourself. Don't go on Ian Allen and cry about it or complain about it. But anyway, for your information, This is the same media that you're quoting from.
Cedros fishermen are speaking out after being chased by Venezuela's Guardia Nacional in Trinidad's territorial waters earlier today. It is why some of them say they're finding comfort in the arrival of U.S. warship USS Gravely, which is scheduled to dock in Port of Spain tomorrow.
Now, while some residents are curious about the naval visit, others find it even more interesting that students from their area were invited to tour the warship next Monday. Radhika De Silva and Ivan Tulsi visited Cedros today for this story.
Fisherfolk at Fullerton Village, Cedros say they're still being chased by Venezuela's Coast Guard in territorial waters, with the latest run-in taking place at dawn on Friday.
Them guys went to the sea fish this morning. While fishing, one of these Venezuelan Coast Guard come out and run apparently about 4 boats. Run them from down there. Come up straight into Trinidad waters, they run them. All on top in Trinidad waters, they run them there. Thank God the Trinidad Coast Guard was passing at the same time and see what was going on.
It's why some fishermen find comfort in the planned arrival of the U.S. warship, which is scheduled to dock on Sunday. And while some may fear the possibility of war, others say the American soldiers could be of help.
So, with the American Coast Guard now could assist the fishermen. You know, right now the fishermen need our help.
Yet still, they're
Just so therefore you know. Just so therefore you know. So, I know I don't be reporting nonsense across here, despite all that people say, you gotta get your facts straight, you gotta get this right, that right, the other right. Our own fishermen here in Trinidad and Tobago, some of them, majority of them, support. He went and say they're against. And I like maybe he was talking about St. Lucia? St. Vincent? St. Vincent fisherman. Maybe he's St. Vincent. Or maybe he's a PNM operative. One out of the two. What do you think? Which one do you think? PNM operative. That's the easiest to go with now. Or the PNM boy. Oh God, boy, leave me alone now. Leave me alone. We running the show and the government is doing a good job at running the show so far. Alright? Stay tuned, Trinidad and Tobago. We'll be back right after this.
Unbeatable deals, unbeatable experience. More savings, more smiles. Shop smart, save more at SNS. Quality you trust, prices you love. At SNS Supermarket, we make every trip rewarding. From unbeatable promotion to top-tier customer service, we bring you the best deals with an endless variety and effortless shopping. From everyday essentials to unique finds. We have it all in one place. No more running around. Shop at any one of our conveniently located branches in Mayaro, Rio Claro, or Pico.
If your child doesn't understand what they read, SCA becomes 10 times harder. That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage of poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
You know, Kamla Prasad Bisesa is a one leader that actually acknowledges when they are not doing their best or when they are not at their best. So while war is going on, and despite, go to pictures, despite, this is what I want to say, despite the murder toll being down according to Guardian, right? It's Guardian. We move to CGBA. Is it Guardian? Yes, you see at the source at the bottom, TNT Guardian. Despite the murder toll being down by 47.3%, it is Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, that said government needs to do more.
A brutal home invasion near her residence that left a family of 7 severely traumatized. Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa admits her government must work harder to ensure citizens feel safe.
After being sworn in as Prime Minister, Prasad Bisesa promised citizens that within 6 months of her government's term, they will feel safer. To achieve this, the Prime Minister reaffirmed that Stand Your Ground legislation will be brought to Parliament before the end of 2025. The Prime Minister said while serious crimes, including murders and robberies, have decreased, many citizens still do not feel safe. She emphasized the need to clamp down on home invasions, vehicle thefts, and other violent crimes. Acknowledging that government must work harder to improve public safety and restore confidence in the justice system, the Prime Minister said additional bills are also on the legislative agenda, addressing fireworks, alcohol, ganja, and gambling.
That is a type of Prime Minister that Trinidad and Tobago has today. One that is grounded and rooted with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, one of compassion and care, and one that actually can own up to any errors that are being made within her administration, especially in regards to crime and promises that was made and should be kept and will be kept by this administration. As you said, the government needs to do more and will do more. And Tobago getting their own police service, it's about time. Well, that's all I have for you tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. I do want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode. It is 9 p.m. in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I'll see you back here on Saturday for another episode of Week in Review. For advertisements, for those that would like to advertise on this program, the number to call 2824798 or send us an email at welchkdavid@gmail.com. That is welchkdavid@gmail.com, and we'll send you what our advertisement packages are looking like. But if you want to see the show continuing, definitely your support is needed. If you want to see that, you could donate to the show as well, so you can make contributions to the show. WhatsApp me 2824798 if you'd like to give and make contributions towards Week in Review, because it takes money to keep this running. Lights in free. Yep. Lights in free. The director said he'll make the first contribution this month to the show. That is great, gracious. All right. So if you'd like to contribute again, advertise 2824798. Or you could send us an email at welchkdavid@gmail.com. That is how I leave you tonight. Let me just be clear to say this to young people and to everyone that have a dream. If you could dream it, then you can 100% be it, Trinidad and Tobago. Keep shooting for the stars in every single thing that you do. Remember that. In everything that you do, keep shooting for the stars. If you can see it, you can 100% be it. Until Saturday, I'll see you on the inside. Have a good night.